All right, let's just jump right into this explainer. When we think about managing our diets, especially for folks navigating diabetes or obesity, we are so trained to obsess over the chemistry. We count our carbs, we tally up grams of sugar, we scrutinize every nutrition label. But what if we're really only looking at half the picture? Today, we're exploring a pretty fascinating idea, that how your food physically feels, its temperature, its texture, how much water is in it, fundamentally changes how it impacts your body.
So what if I told you that how your food feels actually matters just as much as what's in it? It kind of flips our traditional reliance on carb counting right on its head. We tend to assume a carb is a carb, period. But emerging research shows that the physical state of your meal is basically a set of biological traffic lights in your gut. It literally dictates whether sugar speeds into your bloodstream or takes the slow, scenic route.
To make sense of all this science, we're going to break this explainer down into 6 clear, actionable steps. The blood sugar puzzle, how temperature changes everything, the liquid speed trap, viscosity, which is the slow lane, the right food order, and finally, your daily action plan.
All right, number 1, the blood sugar puzzle.
Look, managing diabetes or obesity is genuinely tough, but understanding the hidden physical traits of what we eat, that can give you a massive edge. We're zeroing in on PPG today, which stands for postprandial glucose. Basically, that's just your blood sugar level right after you eat a meal. And the big takeaway here is that spiking your PPG over and over isn't just a harmless temporary sugar rush. It's heavily linked to metabolic syndrome, obesity, type 2 diabetes, the whole shebang. So stopping those spikes is absolutely crucial.
And we're pulling all of our insights today directly from a massive 2023 scientific review in the Medical Research Archives. These researchers asked a brilliant question. How do the physical properties of food, totally separate from the actual sugar content, alter that dangerous glucose spike? And honestly, what they found is incredibly practical for everyday life.
Moving on to number 2, temperature changes everything. Okay, so deep inside your small intestine, you've got these enzymes called alpha-glucosidase. Their whole job is to break down complex sugars into simple glucose so it can enter your blood. But here's the wild part. They work best between 40 and 65 degrees Celsius. That is way hotter than your normal core body temperature. So when you eat piping hot food, you're literally supercharging those enzymes. They break down sugars faster, which shoots that glucose straight into your bloodstream way quicker.
To put that into perspective, let's look at a humble potato. Studies actually show that eating hot potatoes leads to a significantly higher blood sugar spike compared to eating the exact same potatoes after they've cooled down. It is the exact same amount of carbs, but the temperature totally changes how your body reacts to it. So, a simple trick for your routine, just let your starchy foods cool down a bit before you dig in.
All right, number 3, the liquid speed trap.
Now, this is a real eye-opener, especially if you're actively managing your blood sugar. Researchers looked at what happens when people eat a sweet snack like a jelly-filled donut. They found that washing that donut down with a glass of water actually speeds up what's called gastric emptying. Basically, your stomach dumps everything into your intestines much faster, causing a sharper, higher glucose spike than if they just ate the donut dry. The water obviously doesn't add a single gram of sugar, but by turning the meal into a liquid, it literally accelerates the spike. Crazy, right?
On to number 4, viscosity, or what we'll call the slow lane. Viscosity, or how thick and gooey your food is honestly one of the most powerful physical tools you have. Let's visualize it like this. Watery, low viscosity food, that's basically a water slide in your gut. It shoots the glucose straight to your intestinal walls for instant absorption. But high viscosity, thick food, that creates a slow, grueling mud run. It physically forces those digestive enzymes and sugars to trudge through the mud, delaying the whole process and keeping your blood sugar nice and stable.
So what does this mud run look like in the grocery aisle? Well, a ton of studies confirm that soluble fibers, high amylose starches, vegetables, and proteins are your absolute best friends here. By loading up your stomach with these high-viscosity foods, you're actively building that mud run, lowering your body's insulin response, and flattening out that post-meal spike.
Which brings us nicely to number 5, the right food order. So how do we actually apply this mud run analogy at the dinner table? Well, the order in which you eat literally alters the physical environment of your gut. Since proteins in veggies are highly viscous, eating them first creates a physical roadblock. It stops the rapid absorption of the watery, sugary stuff you might eat later, like bread or orange juice. Think about it. If you eat the bread and juice first, they hit the water slide. If you eat the protein and veggies first, you're forcing that bread and juice to go through the mud run.
And finally, number 6, your daily action plan. Let's turn all this incredible science into a simple 4-step routine for your next meal. Step 1. Start with those high-viscosity vegetables. Step 2. Eat your protein to build up that thick, slow-digesting barrier in your stomach. Step 3. Finish with your carbs. And hey, let them cool down first to put the brakes on those enzymes. And Step 4. Try to minimize liquids while you're eating so you don't accidentally wash those sugars into the fast lane. You see, by literally following this order of operations, you aren't depriving yourself of food, you're just strategically hacking the physics of your gut.
So, knowing what we know now, that hot, watery, sugary liquids are basically a rocket ship for your blood sugar, the real question is, how are you going to change your habits starting today? Like, are you maybe going to order that morning coffee iced tomorrow? Give it some thought. Thanks for joining me to explore the physics of food in this explainer, and I'll see you next time.